Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Old Gray Bricks, where I have not yet remembered to get AA batteries for my Saturn light over here. So this is week 2 of ADHD problems. And does yours plugs in, right? See, I should have done that, but you know. But I did. ADHD me did buy some rechargeable batteries for that. I just remembered to plug them in, so they're charging.
Yeah, those things eat batteries. I bought one for Paul that looks like a gamer controller that it's in his room. It's like a nightlight. And it definitely will eat up some batteries.
Yeah. I mean, if you leave it on, it's gone in a couple days and everything. But anyway, Steve, and we will say it Polda, just not polluta up the stream. Anyway, Steve is in the chat with us. Paul, hey, how are you? Paul Equinox is here. Battery Power Bricks is here. Old and Surly not able to join us. Oh no, the computer's in tatters. I'm sorry.
Use your phone. You can use your phone.
Yeah, get your phone out.
We're not picky.
And Fazoon Jr. just coming up the stairs to deliver Amazon that came to the door. So,
is it Lego?
It is shelf.
For Lego.
It is for Lego. It is for my wire right shelves, the things to cover them, so I can put Lego on them. So
okay, we'll allow it.
Anyway, talk amongst yourselves. Let me talk to him a second.
So he was talking to us.
How much snow do you have up there?
More than you, which is also nothing. So, you know, why would we have snow? It's only September. It is hot chocolate month.
I'm just joking. So,
okay, I'm back.
I registered my mocks for the Toronto Bricks and the Six, and I have my got all my Airbnb lodging on the way up and back, and so I'm looking forward to that in mid-November. And trying to decide if I'm going to bring anything in addition to the big mosaic. I might just bring the painted ladies because they all fit into one large paper box, and so they're pretty easy to pack up and transport to a international show. This will be my first international Lego show.
It's not very nice to put painted ladies in a box, just for the record.
I know, and that might cause at the border, they would be like, "Do you have any painted ladies in a box?" And I'll be like, "Well, yes, actually." Yeah.
And then they'll want to pop all the dots off just to inspect to make sure there's nothing hidden underneath.
Oh goodness, that'd be terrible.
Steve has noticed your nickname. Do you want to go ahead and say the reason you have your nickname today?
Yes. So not even 24 hours ago, at midnight, Saturday midnight. Saturday, we're night owls at our house, and especially on weekends. So we were getting to bed at midnight, and my husband started complaining of his stomach really hurt, and occasionally he gets gas. And so I'm like, well, why don't you grab some Tums and see if that helps. And so we went downstairs, and he took some Pepto-Bismol, came back up, and just he couldn't get comfortable. He's like, this really hurts. And he and I are the opposite ends of the spectrum. Like, I don't complain about something hurting unless like I'm about to die. Like I'm very German, and if he like bumps his knee on something, he'll talk about how much it hurts. So like I always take a little bit of his exclamations of suffering with a grain of salt, but it was pretty clear that he was really uncomfortable. And after about 20 minutes, I said, I don't think this is getting any better. Do you want to go to the hospital? He's like, yeah, let's go. So we drive up. And anyways, it turns out it's the gallbladder. So I'm thinking maybe appendicitis, but no, it's the gallbladder, and it's very blocked. And so they, about 6 a.m., after really not sleeping almost the whole night, like, yeah, your gallbladder needs to come out. We'll take it out today. So by about 1:32, he's under in surgery, and it's laparoscopic. So, it's not as invasive as the old school days where they would scalpel to your belly. They go in and they suck it out, I guess, or something. They go into the belly button. And relieved to go home. It's 30. It's like, when bam, take out your gallbladder, and now you get to go home. So it was much faster than my 5 days in the hospital, which I had only gotten out of the hospital 10 days ago, and then he was in. So they know us really well down the street. Fortunately for us, our local medical center is not far away. And he said, Cosbrick says gallbladder pain is no fun. One of the nurses, female nurses, expressed her opinion that gallbladder pain hurt worse than childbirth. That was her take on it. And he's had 2 neck surgeries for herniated disc, and he said it hurt worse than the herniated disc. He said it was really. So we're texting in our I don't know if it auto-corrected or I just misspelled it, and I said fall bladder instead of gallbladder. Hence my screen name for tonight is fall bladder, because everybody has a bladder for every season. You got your spring bladder and your fall bladder and your winter bladder. So it's been a month at our house. Both of us have been in the hospital, and Wednesday we both go see specialists to follow up on our various ailments. And don't get old. That's my advice.
Tell me about it.
Are you going to get a group rate for both going on the same day?
Fortunately, I already got the bill for my second hospital stay, and because I had already met all of my deductibles, it said zero. You owe $0. Now, I mean, I might still have some copays on some doctors or something, but like I was happy that I spend we get 3 choices at our college. There's like the gold plan, the silver plan, the bronze plan. I always get the gold plan because I'm a diabetic and I know I'm going to use my medical insurance every single year. But man, it has really paid off this year. I saw the bill for both of my visits, and it's over 6 figures, and I only had to pay under $2,000. So, and he's on Medicare because he's federal disabled. So, and they're also been very good at covering stuff. So, I'm thankful that we're not one of these persons that has to deal with medical bankruptcy and that kind of stuff. That's quite distressing. We're in a pretty good shape financially. It's just sort of taking care of each other. And, he's very tender today, walking around kind of gingerly. And I'm still getting antibiotics into my arm every day. And he's the one who gives it to me. So we're taking care of each other. So we're like
coming at each other with, okay, your injection, can stab each other with the thing. And yeah,
we are like the old married couple. We're like, oh, how's your gout today? Or like, how's your knee? I'm like, that's kind of our house the last couple of days. So getting old is not fun, but at least have someone to get old with, I guess, is the lesson I'm taking.
When you got into surgery a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking, you were saying that, Tom's going to have to cut the grass now because you're not going to be able to do it. So now who's going to cut your grass? You just basically disabled yourselves.
So one of my good colleagues at the college, they've cat set for us, and we played board games with them and saw Alien together. She's a huge Alien fan. They met and they were like, "Is there anything you need, like food wise?" And I said, I went to the grocery store. We're actually pretty good. I stocked up on some soups and easy food. But I said, Thomas was gonna mow the lawn because I'm not supposed to be walking excessively on the toe. And I'm like, he's not in any shape. And he's like, I can mow your lawn. It's like a 15-minute mow. Like we don't have. So our neighbor, I think, is going to help us out with that. So
that's cool.
Thankfully. Cool. And they literally live like 2.5 miles from our house. He's like, I can just bring over my mower. And I was like, well, if I charge the battery, you can use mine. It just, I'm not supposed to be walking excessively on the toe while it's going through all this treatment. So,
well, we are all allergic to everything outside in our house. So grass cutting and stuff gets farmed out. And so there's a guy local, he's done a good job here. So it's good to have a guy that lives in the neighborhood that's cutting the grass. But he's like, this is the month you gotta cut back your palmetto trees. And I'm like, sure, that's fine. So we had already talked about the rate for that. So he came over today and did that. But I think you have to do it within a certain month because they don't then grow right or something in later on. There he is. And so that I paid to have my palmetto bushes trimmed this today because I have I have 3 palmetto trees and then a different palm bush kind of thing in the backyard. So
I have to interrupt that one. You only have one. No, forget.
what?
I was gonna say you only have one thing that needs to be trimmed.
Yeah, be careful who you say. I just got my palmetto bush trimmed. You know,
I don't know what that means. Anyway,
I don't know what a palmetto bush is in the first place. Obviously, it's a tree. I get that.
I don't know the difference between a palmetto tree and a palm tree, or whether you know the difference between the two.
I do. They're just different species. Palmetto is the one that looks like a pineapple but tall.
I thought a palmetto tree was basically like a pine tree with needles, and that's where we get palmetto bugs from.
No, you get palmetto bugs from palmetto bushes, which are palm that are short and everything like that. They grow rampant through here. Pine trees are different, dude. I grew up in the South. All right, but
valid point. You grew up in the South, but I'm just saying I got palmetto trees.
Martin, I'm not answering that question. But anyway, but the state tree history lesson. Are you ready for his? Let's see if Mr. History knows this. So South Carolina has the palmetto tree on its flag, right?
yes, it does.
So the Battle of Sullivan's Island, right at the beginning of the Revolutionary War, which some say, especially South Carolinians who think highly of themselves, think that battle is what spurred on all of them to sign the Declaration of Independence, because the British began to attack and they decided to come across and attack the fort on Sullivan's Island. Well, they couldn't build the fort with anything but palmetto trees, and because of the mud and the weather and the bounciness of the resiliency of the palmetto trunks, the British were soundly defeated, and word got back to up north, and people signed the Declaration of Independence. At least that's what they say down here. So the palmetto tree is heroic and a thing, and so that's what.
Again, I will say I didn't think it was possible for you to become more Southern by moving to South Carolina, but you have.
Well, I ate pork rinds dipped in pimento cheese the other day, so there you go. So,
Exactly. So, did the palmetto trees produce the palmetto bugs, which, if you're not in the South, look exactly like cockroaches, but supposedly they're different? I don't know.
They're just like 18-wheelers versus the regular cockroaches. So,
well, there's the whole difference between the German cockroach, which is the cockroaches that we're used to up north, that are the ones that are in an infestation and are hard to get rid of, versus the smoky browns, which is the relative palmetto bug that we find here in the South.
Smoky brown sounds way too nice for something gross.
Well, I think that's a PR thing that's been done for the palmetto bug.
Like, yes, they're smoky brown. You know, it sounds almost like a special sauce you might put on.
Again,
oh wait, the Brit is arguing with my history.
He told you to sod off.
He did, which means I got to cut my grass. That's what in the South.
He's still mad about the tea we threw in the harbor.
That's true.
He's worried about your lawn bowl. You need to sod off so you can properly lawn bowl.
Right. I will say, Martin, there is an Anglican church right up the road that we're good friends with, and all that kind of stuff now. But anyway,
now
after 300 and some odd years, we're good. Actually, this a couple of Sundays, the church I'm at will celebrate its 342nd anniversary. So yeah, it's been there a minute.
And then some.
If he was, he would say like, well, we have ruins that are older than that.
That's true. The queen had shoes older than that, right? No, wait.
That's definitely pretty cool. I mean, that's one thing that's kind of interesting to me about being a teacher in Georgia is that down on the coast, we do have things in Georgia that go back to the colonial and Revolutionary War period, which for most of Georgia, it wasn't even settled at that point. But, I occasionally teach a class on Georgia politics, And when I teach it, it's basically Georgia political history. Go back, all kinds of old stuff. And one of the things I enjoy personally about traveling is, taking pictures of things, and sometimes they end up in I use them in class. So if you go down by the coast of Georgia, just south of where Chris Giddens is now, you can visit the Battle of Kettle Creek, which is a visitor center because, Georgia's got lots of Civil War history, but they're trying to develop a little bit of the tourism around the Revolutionary War. So,
yeah. Well, we were mostly a penal colony, but we'll just ride right on by that. So
I'm going to just go ahead and say, he said,
exactly. That was always the fun part of Georgia history, learning about Oglethorpe. And, every time the history teacher would say penal colony, we'd all,
really can't imagine.
So very unlike a Goober Giddens to go.
My team won the Georgia History Quiz Bowl that year, so I forgot it all.
I mean, the whole penal colony thing is a little overstated, I will tell you, but it's still a good story. And I have taught.
There's so many jokes right there that I am not making.
Yeah, Matt would know that. Yeah.
I don't want to say anything.
I have said that the Delaware's license plate says the first state because they were the first state to ratify the U.S. Constitution. I said Georgia could go with Georgia, better than prison for the penal colony.
That's true. By the way, Mike Schaefer, hello. He's a funny guy on the Instagrams and TikToks. I do believe, and we've met online. I think he met Rich. I was hoping Rich would show up tonight. He went to Rich's store over the weekend. He sent me a message. He's like, "Do you know this guy?" I'm like, "Yeah, he's an old hippie, but he's cool." So,
the old hippie that used to work for the government that he can't talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anyway, you guys are knocking bricks around or something. It's making some serious noise. Look at Scanlon. Let me mute him. There we go.
Go.
The guy who yells at us all the time, "Stop at your bricks!" He's like,
Dana that was doing this
just taking the bricks and just.
Well, it's always he who first throws the stone that is the most culprit of it. So
Actually, in Georgia, he who smelt it dealt it. That is what.
Or as Moses and Space Ghost said, "Thou who first smelt it, thine own self dealt it." Best Space Ghost Coast to Coast episode ever. Just saying.
I feel like metaphors are about to be horribly mangled right
now. But one of our and I get a chuckle out of it every time I log in to one of our streaming services. You can select your icon for yourself, and I have Brack from Space Ghost Coast to Coast, and Brack was one of the funniest things of all things. Just so funny.
All the things.
Of all things. All right.
Things.
Let's just stay here and not zoom in on everybody. Matt, tell us what you got going on other than your health stuff.
Yeah, so I did finish something. So let me rotate my camera for a second. And so above my cap here, we have the Tower of Ornithak is now back with the Tower of Bar-Ador. And I conveniently have this end of the room where the roof kind of slants up, and it's hard to tell, but there's only about 3 inches of clearance on that one side for the Eye of Sauron. So here we go. And but it's got a nice little place. So we've got a mixed array of geekdom, nerddom. We've got our Star Wars and our Lord of the Rings stuff, and it's fun. And I actually cracked open the other big set. I've just started on Rivendell, which I bought, I don't know, probably almost a year ago. It's been sitting in the box in the to be built pile, and I'm like, okay, well, I'm not supposed to be walking around on my toe, and I'm not playing hockey for the next season, so I got time to just work away at these really big sets that have been sitting there waiting to be built. Also sitting down there is the Avengers Tower, the Tony Stark Tower, so that'll eventually get built as well. So I'm having a good time. The thing that one of the things that's kind of cool about the Tower of the Bar-Ador is they use a lot of translucent, trans yellow, trans orange to give it a feeling of like lava and that kind of stuff kind of flowing. There's definitely a reuse of some of the clever curve techniques that we saw on the Saturn V rocket to give it that, sort of rounded texture. And they use some of that stuff where they attach the sort of flying, I don't know, ramparts or whatever they're called, but not really flying buttresses. But anyways, there's that stuff that stands out, and they've got that kind of curved shape. On the inside, there's some places where the mouth of Sauron can scribble things down. And there's like a library. There's a armory on the inside. It did seem like occasionally it was almost excessively complex, but there's a lot of snot work that goes on there to get the kind of spiky feel of the original building. So that's what I've been doing. Fine butt dresses, exactly.
Yeah, I still appreciate the subtle color variances for the glow of the lava. I think that's a great effect that you don't notice until you notice it, and I think that's great. It's subtle enough that it's in there. That's cool.
And there is a light brick on the backside, and I've got it up there. I'd have to stand on a chair, which I don't.
Light brick in the backside.
Yes.
That sounds like something you had done at the doctor, but
and it shines through.
You went to the doctor to get taken out. They got stuck.
And when you shine that light brick on the backside, it shines through to the front side, and it's impressive.
But that's not where the light's supposed to shine.
That's where you stick it where the light don't shine. That's what my dad used to say.
When you press the light, it really draws the eye. Let me just tell
you. Michael, who I was talking about, who's probably like, I'm not hanging around anymore. But anyway, Michael, about 2 weeks ago, he showed me he sent me a picture of something for his parents were going to an auction, and it was a bin of Classic Space Lego, and there were boxes in there too of Classic Space. He's like, how much would you bid for this? And so I could tell he had a Starfleet Voyager. There was $500 or $600 depending on the condition of the Lego in this bin. And so his parents bidded on it, and I don't know if I'm supposed to say that they got it for $40, but they got it for $40.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so he showed it to Rich, and Rich got mad. I love it, but that's fantastic. I hope it was in good condition, even if it's not. Just for the figs, $40, $30.
$30.
Oh, I'm mad.
$30.
Now we all hate you. Just so you know, we're green with envy.
Oh. Anyway, Jeff, what you got going on?
I'm not muted. Okay, good. Working on my green space, tearing it apart for the third time. Yeah, third time. First time.
Third time's the charm.
Third time's the charm. First time was for roads, or first time was just building it a couple of times, like readjusting stuff. Second time was to get my pathways and roads in. Now I'm ripping it up to build a river, which you can kind of see forming in the center here, little pond. And I'll have to rip out parts of it again after this round in order to do farmland, because I would want to make farmland removable so I can just put it into a bin, because I don't want to put like 1,000 stalks of grain up every time I'm building the display. So
you'd need another day just to set up if you had to
pretty much. Pretty much. I also need to find 1,000 stalks of grain because I probably have 100. But so yeah, just working on that. I'm going into the States. I'm crossing the border this weekend to go visit Janie Redbrick. So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully hit a couple of Lego stores. Well, hit one Lego store on the way down, and maybe get, I don't know, 10 or so Classic Space or Classic Dark Blue figures that I have legs sitting here waiting. And maybe helmets too. I don't know. We'll see. And green parts probably, and tan parts, and whatever else I can find. Although, based on what I've seen at some Pick-a-Bricks, some of the wall selection that they have in some of the stores, it's not going to be much that I'll be able to find. But so have a machine harvesting the grain, so I don't need 1,000. This is true. Although it is a medieval castle, so I probably have to have 20 or 30 people harvesting the grain. But yeah.
Do you feel like you're playing medieval Sim City by any chance? Is that what's going on?
Maybe. I mean, yeah, kind of, but at the same time, I'm doing all the building, so unfortunately, it's the scaled the medieval version of Medieval SimCity. You have to do it all yourself. Yeah.
Do you ever find yourself repeating lines from Monty Python where he's like, "But where are the People's Autonomous Collective?" and that kind of stuff?
Nope.
It's
been a very long time since I've seen Monty Python, though, too.
Oh,
so.
you need to watch it then.
Oh, I know. I it's been on my list of things to watch.
Wait! You've never watched Monty Python? The Holy Grail?
I said it's been a while since I've watched
Oh,
Monty Python.
okay.
I have watched Monty Python before. I know about the Holy Hand Grenade, and I'll bite your ankles.
Bring forth
I
the
remember-
Holy Hand Grenade.
I remember parts of it. Something about a rabbit too. I can't remember what the rabbit was.
Nasty teeth with big.
Yes.
I don't know if Sandlin remembers this, but long ago, we all went to go see Spamalot in the Fox. Do you remember that, Mark? And we were sitting like right in the back. And my wife does not get that humor so much. She's very concrete, and so like when she was in the movie, watches the movie Airplane, and he's telling the long story, and then the person he's telling it to offs themselves. She's worried about that guy, right? What happened to him? So her humor is not that humor, and she would not be offended by me saying that. That is who she is. So I have drugged her to Spamalot, which is filled with that kind of humor and everything. And Old and Surly, I'll have to quote that line because that's one of my favorite lines. Look at the bones. I had to do it. I'm sorry. But anyway, so they're going through the thing, and the first half of the deal, they're doing pretty much straight to the movie, and it's fantastically funny. They get to the part where they're reading from the book, the feasting on the sloths and the breakfast cereals, and the guy goes, "Skip a bit, brother," and the guy does a little skipping dance. Everybody groans, but my wife laughs singularly in the Fox Theater very, very loudly. And then it goes to intermission, and everybody's already turned back to look at her, and now they're filing past her as we're sitting there just waving. Yeah, that was her joke. Thank you very much. That's kind of you. Thank you. It was so funny.
Awesome.
I'm not dead. Bones.
So going back for a second, so when I was in the hospital, they had all the little leads taped to my hairy chest to check my heart. My hairy chest.
No, the weeds. Did you say weeds?
The leads. LEAD.
I heard weeds too.
Some people use that for therapy. No judgment.
So, and then Thomas had the exact same thing. He had all this stuff taped on, and I kept joking with the nurses because they would be like, "Oh, we're gonna have to rip this off and reattach it." And I'm like, just like in 40-Year-Old Virgin. And you know how many nurses have never seen that scene where Steve Carell's yelling, "Kelly Clarkson," as they rip the hair removal. And I literally like got it on YouTube, and I said, "Okay, you got to watch this," because like I made this reference, and like all these much younger nurses than I am had no idea what I was talking about, and they started laughing. They were like, "Okay, that's pretty funny."
Is it internet trivia, movie trivia that was actually him doing that for reals, and that was his? Okay, I'm just making sure. That's funny.
Yep, he was not acting. If you get the when I watch it, you could get the like Blu-ray version, and you could actually watch the outtake because he did like 30 of those, and they only put like 5 or 6 in the movie. He kept doing it again.
That is not the method acting I would want to do. Mr. Sandlin, what is up in your Lego world?
Well, I've got a bunch of stuff. Let's see. I got all of the D&D figures. In fact, my rummaging in bricks was to build a nice little stand to put all my little D&D figures. Yay, there they are.
Is that the first one you've ever collected all of?
It is. This is the first and only series that I have collected all of the figures from. So I built them some nice little risers so they can stand and be pretty. So
welcome to the dark side.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't mean I'm going to start collecting all CMFs. I just like this series.
That's how we all start off.
That's right.
I don't have that chip of got to collect it all. I don't have the Dana chip. I don't, never have.
Danny doesn't have a chip. He has a whole bag of chips. But
I also got some Dreams sets. I got the Dreams Raven. It's pretty cool. I really like this set because of the whole Baba Yaga hut that you can do. In fact, if you build it just right, you can build it so that you can just pull it off the back of the Raven, and then you can keep the legs off to one side, and because they're just on Technic pins, and you can just stick the Technic pins on there, and there you go.
that is so weirdly fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah, I really love this because of the whole, folklore, Baba Yaga's hut kind of thing, and I thought that was a really cool thing to put in a set. And because the Raven, the way the Raven is built, it just has like a little studded area on its tail, so you can still just set the hut on there if you pull the legs off. So it's really, you can build all the rest of the stuff like the cauldron and stuff to put on the front if you want it that way, and then just take the hut off and put it back on if you want to do that, and that's pretty fun. I think the figures are pretty cool. I don't really care about the minions, but the spooky lady is very cool. I think she's neat, and she has like
The Neva Witch.
I presume this is like a trapped castle something or other that she has shrunken, like
I think it's a la Kandor City kind of thing.
like Kandor something or other. And there's a couple other little things in jars floating next to the cauldron there on the little arms. But the Raven's very cool. It's he can move his mouth. He's got the big flappy wings. You can, the wings have those large joints that they use on Ninjago mechs, so you can pose the wings. There's ball joints on the wingtip feathers. So it's pretty cool. It's very sort of posable, and it has the little cage area down here with spider webs, so you can put trapped figures down there.
Cool.
Really big and impressive. This is as big as a Ninjago dragon, in terms of like wingspan and being a big sort of thing. So that's fun. And I also got the Big Dreams shark ship. I got this on clearance. One of the few times I've gotten a clearance at my Walmart near my house. So I got this because it's just cool. It's a very cool set.
And now where are you going to put it? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm almost out of room in here. I truly do not know where this is going to live.
Is clearance season still happening?
Yeah.
Sporadic.
Okay. I got that like a month ago. It's been sitting down here.
But it's like Walmart clearance, right? Like Target doesn't clear that much, do they?
Target clearance is happening again, also sporadic. Like I've seen some Friends sets that went like down to like 25% or 75% off, which I missed. I only saw them when they were at 50%, but they weren't worth it. I'm seeing my Walmart's been putting a few more things. It actually put like this island in the middle of like, if you're going most Walmarts, there's like a big thoroughfare. Well, they dropped an island in the middle of it in the toy section just to put clearance toys on it because they've got so much. Lots of Minecraft, lots of Mario Brothers stuff, a little bit of Ninjago here and there. So it's hit or miss.
I'm planning to hit a few on my way down to the States. So
you may still find some stuff.
Yeah, especially since I'm going to kind of like the backwater.
Yeah, the more backwater you go, the more likely of things you'll find. Chris is a fan of traversing the backwater.
Yes, I am. Thank you very much. Anyway, but I will say, and I think I put this in the Discord, a guy here in just one town up, so he's about 10 minutes from here, 15 minutes from here. The little wall, we have, apparently South Carolina has a lot of wall markets, which is just the grocery store with the little grocery store aisle of toys, which I've told y'all what I've got right here. The one near him decided to get rid of their toy section. They had just put the D&D sets, the figs out, and then clearanced them out. He got them all for $2. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
$2.
$2 a piece or $2 for the whole thing?
$2 a piece. But I mean,
either way.
Either way, it's like, dude, you could just take those, get the ones you want, flip the other ones for $4, and you're making money, right? And that's just crazy. But anyway, hey, Steve asked you the question: are you taking those apart, or are you keeping them together, Mark?
I honestly don't know. I'll keep them together for a while. I may end up taking them apart, but
I actually am about to do a big Dreams Season 1 disassemble.
No disassemble.
No disassemble.
All right, and that's a segue to you, sir. What is going on in Dana's world?
I got Small Paul a shirt, by the way.
Let's see the Small Paul shirt.
It's yellow and it looks like the Gadsden flag, but it has Johnny 5 on it saying no disassemble.
I like it.
That's
I
awesome.
like it very much, very much. So I think I showed you guys last week that I was assembling UFO sets for Atlanta Brick Company, and I got done shortly after midweek last week. So I decided to make a trip down Friday again, real quick, because I wanted to drop off some parts and drop off some sets that I had completed. So now I can say that these particular sets are now officially mine because I have since paid my time for them. So these are officially mine, as well as the big monster saucer, which is still cool. I love this one.
By the way, I didn't want to pop your bubble or whatever last week, but every one of those sets, except for maybe one of those UFO sets, I absolutely loathed.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know you loathe them. That's actually part of the enjoyment of this particular phase of my collecting, is that I am hitting on two themes that I know that you absolutely loathe. And the best part is I got all these sets without the figures because I bought the figures from you for cheaper than I would have got them from Atlanta Brick Company. So
yeah, I know. I gave you a steal.
You are actually a part of this, whether you want to be or not. And your name did come up. It's up, man. It's a your name did come up out of Mark Erickson's mouth at least once or twice when I was collecting these UFO things. So
they already
have blue hands all over them anyway, because those figures actually have blue hands. I did also, when I was down there, I did pick up the set that I had forgotten to grab, which was the little bi-wing. So that will also go along with the old Sonic Stinger here. So those are two more UFOs, insectoid sets. And then I also grabbed one more piece that I was missing, because I actually parted this together out of all my parts at home, except for the 2x2 brick on the bottom, or the 2x4 brick on the bottom here with the pins on the side for the wheels. So I got that one more added to the mix. Always loving the trans neon green.
I love the fact that there was a V-Wing fighter in that series before V-Wing became a Star Wars thing.
Well, it was actually a bi-wing.
No, it was called V-Wing in some.
Well, then that might be just a difference of instructions depending on where it is. But Bricklink and Brickset both call it bi-wing.
Okay, I believe you, but it was
anyway,
but in the original German when he did that.
That's true. but along with that, I also started parting together.
Sir, I will point you to the Bricklink page for 6836 on Bricklink that says V-Wing Fighter. Thank you very much.
But it's 6905.
6836, sir.
You're not.
It's 6905.
You're not pushing up your glasses. Neither one of you are.
Anyway, I'm moving right along. So I've also started parting together. This bag needs a $20 motor to be completed, along with a few other pieces.
Your mom is a $20 motor.
Yeah, your mom's a $20 motor. This one, it's one of those big, huge sets that you really can't find very often for very cheap. So I'm actually going to be okay to pay the $20, $25, whatever I need to do to get the pieces that I need for this. He's going to go ahead and do it. That's the V-Wing fighter, you dumb nut.
I said the B-Wing fighter. That's what I said. The B-Wing fighter.
I said the bi-wing fighter.
Yes, I said I thought it was cool that they had one called the V-Wing fighter before Star Wars did. You were
sounded like
B.
something else. You sounded like B when you said that.
Exactly. Thank you, Matthew.
I just
your V and your B are very southern, so it's very difficult to understand you.
I just find it funny that Data called you a dumb nut.
It's
Very appropriate.
It's correct.
That was off
correct
the, by the way,
nomenclature,
because
and I
that was
appreciate it.
it was the nicest thing I could think of to say with actually still being aggressively irritated with him at the same time. So.
But also, Data weren't you like voted, AFOL of the week or whatever at a
Oh,
later?
Right.
yes,
I'm
I
going
was
to
voted the
vote
April
you
week.
down.
Yeah, and I was able to also throw a little shout or I don't know, call out to Matthew or Mark and Steven, which is always awesome. But then I'm also building 2 more UFO sets out of parts, and actually this is what I went down there on Friday to also grab, was a bunch of more parts for this. I got to order some figs and a few parts here and there. So once those are done, I'll still have one more insectoid set. And this last one that I'm doing is the last UFO set. So that will actually be 2 more themes that I can check off. So I also repaired, which was kind of fun. This was got this. I didn't have this for you guys last week, but
Oh gosh, I hate that.
and then
Mark knows that was, we were like those, that was like $20 in early 90s, and it was all for that stupid piece of electronics that's terrible.
I love it. I love it. I had to actually clean 2 of those up to make them work, but then I didn't realize it till I was looking for some magnets. I found I had one of these.
Ugh, that thing makes horrible noises too.
But this was actually from City Space Sets.
Yes.
Dana, you need to make that your new ringtone for the next time we're in the same room together, and then I'll call you and it can go on.
Just to watch Mark and Chris go.
Those things were just epidemic in toys around that time. Like every toy line had those crappy little blinky light sound effecty things. Like they were in Batman toys, and they were in everything.
I worked 2 Christmases at KB Toy Works, and we had a kiosk in the front of the register area that had like a round table that had all sorts of anything that made noise like this. Oh, and you could tell the aunts and uncles that were coming in and buying presents for their nieces and nephews, because they grabbed those things up like crazy. They're like, here you go, bro. Look
when
what
I was
got
growing up,
kids.
I had one sibling and she was loud. Like she's outspoken, always making noise. And I was the quiet child. I was the introverted kid. So she has her first child, first 3 birthdays, noisy things like the fire engine that the kid rolls and it's like, and I get the little lawnmower, the Fisher Price lawnmower that goes like pop, 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 pop when they mow the the floor. So like birthday number 4, she goes, no more noise. I was
retribution, my friend. Retribution.
My work here is done.
Retribution. You got 2 more things to share. I had a Bricklink order that I placed. What's today? September 16th. I placed it on August 4th.
What?
I received it today. Came from Colorado, of all places. Now, in defense of this Bricklink seller, they told me and they closed their store down August 20th or something because they had some family issues and that everything was on hold and this and that. And they were going to, but I still kept seeing feedback. So she was shipping or he was shipping. Nothing. They finally said they shipped it on like the 2nd. I contacted them. I said, yeah, you gave me a tracking number, but it's the 9th and I still see no traction on this order. And then like a day later, PayPal notified me, hey, this has now been shipped and it's on its way. And I'm like, okay, sure. So it finally showed up, which gave me the ability to build this guy.
Oh, you got it. Oh no, I was looking away. Okay, that's good. I know something else you have in the.
Oh no, well, that's next. That's next. So
okay.
I now have a mega fig that resembles the imposters from the CMF. I got this idea off of a guy who had actually gone to Burke Fair, Virginia, or Chantilly, or whatever it is, and he had little stuffed animals that he crafted that were very similar to this. And I'm like, oh, we can totally make that out of Lego. So I will now have to make him a habitat. I'll take the eye off for the mono figure habitat, but this is fun. So I'm excited for that. So
that is cool.
He's got a little. And as Chris mentioned, and I'm going to preface this. So this is a lead up story. It's not a dad joke as good as Mark is going to tell, but it's a preface. So as I'm sitting on the can one day and I'm looking through the Old Gray Bricks text messages, and Matthew sends us this image of a set that's on Amazon That's obviously.
was
Was it you? I thought it was Matthew. Okay. Sorry, Matthew. I'm gonna have to take the credit back and give it to Chris. Chris says
thank you for that credit. Where you were and what you were. Never mind. Go ahead.
I just thought you were just gonna gloss right over that, or let it slide by as I was letting you.
You're pushing it now. Thank you very much.
Anyway, so I'm sitting on my phone and I'm like, oh, I gotta order this just for the sheer sake of that. It's just hysterical. It just needs to be found. So I went ahead and spent the whole $8 to buy this Galaxy Explorer knockoff set. 18K Super Galaxy Explorer, the F-A0619, 9+ 464 pieces. So I didn't know if I was going to get in time to build it today, but I wound up getting pulled into a couple of sport calls at the end of the day. So I did actually spend the time to build it. It's got some Giddens extenders on it. So pardon me here. Well, it does, honestly. It truly does have some Giddens extenders. So I'm not going to give like the full review per se, because that's not what I do, maybe. But I will say this. These bricks are pretty darn close to Lego quality. The clutch is fine. I've played with some clone bricks before, and the clutch is usually horrible. The clutch on this is actually pretty decent. They've still got a little bit of waxy feel to them that the clone bricks have versus the regular Lego bricks. There's something about all these other companies that they just can't get the formula just right. But the clutch is just fine.
That's the cancer. That's the cancer on the chemicals.
That's the can. Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to detox. But as far as, I mean, all these, for the most parts, if it's a part that doesn't have a Lego stud that you can see that it's not Lego, you would be hard pressed to tell that it wasn't Lego by glance. You would have to seriously go looking to see that there wasn't, or that the stamp is not the right part number or something like that. But otherwise, all these parts are very, very, very Lego quality. So I was really surprised by that. Out of all the parts on here, the flames are solid as opposed to the dual molded flames that we get from Lego sets. That's one part that Lego doesn't produce in the way they do it in here. And then the other one, of course, one of the things I found funny is that the steering wheel, I had to attach the steering wheel. That made me laugh.
that's the quick kicker.
That made me laugh. But the part that's in here, and there's probably about 5 or 6 of them, and it is the part that Lego really, really needs, is that double studded plate. And they only use it in this build in just one area, and it's basically inside the cockpit section here, because they've done the floor. They didn't want to snot this front section here. They wanted to have the studs available. So they snotted it, and so to make the cockpit sections fit in there appropriately, they would use those double snotted pieces to fit. But this is very, very nice. It's got a rear door and a ramp. It's got a little rover in the trunk with a little bot in it. When I opened the instructions and I looked at it, and I was like, this seems oddly familiar. And especially when I looked at this little buggy, and I was like, I think this is the Brick Artisan. And I went and I looked, and we share here real quick. Share screen, window, share. Here we go. Come on. There we go.
Yep.
So the Brick Artisan, which goes by the Brick Artisan on Instagram and also on Rebrickable. This is very much this build. It's not identical, but it is at least 90% his build. And they just added a little bit here, did a little bit there. Now I built this. I actually bought the instructions for this, and I built this one. And I can say that the funny thing is even though for as close as they are in resemblance, this one's actually sturdier. I have built some of Peter Reed's builds. I've built some of so Brick Artisan's builds, and because Brick Artisan is an evolution from Peter. So there's a lot of that same type of greebling and same type of neo-classic space type feel. Whoever decided to rip off the Brick Artisan and do a Sandlin on it and try to improve on it in some ways, they did a decent job. I will give them that. It's not Lego parts, but other than that little section for needing those 2 plates, you could really build this out of all Lego parts. Although I found it interesting.
The canopy is not produced by Lego, though, that you have on that.
What's that?
The canopy is a new mold, new color. Not on this one, but the one in your hand.
Right. Well, the canopy is a newer canopy by Lego, just not in this color.
Right.
Correct. And there's also a 1x6 trans neon plate in here. Not that you don't have those, but most people won't.
I do.
And there's also a 1x4 trans neon plate in here as well. And I don't know if these windows, these 1x2x4 windows, I think because in the build that the Brick Artisan used, he used one of the 1x4x4s, and these are 2 1x2x4s. So those don't exist in yellow either. So you would have to make some adjustments here and there. And again, of course, this canopy doesn't exist in trans yellow yet. But other than that, it's not a bad build. The instructions, however, are horrible. There's at least, I would say, 3 or 4 times during the instructions that I had to backtrack because it wasn't apparent what they were doing. And then there was a couple times where I noticed where you would want to, having done instructions, I know that it's not the easiest thing in the world to do sometimes, but there was a lot of times where you were actually having to lift up something that you had put down earlier to snug in a snot brick because you can't, you guys know what I'm talking about. You can't just pop a snot brick into some place that already has a plate in place. You've got to shift things around to make it work. So the instructions, I give those definitely like a 7 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10. The build itself, I'll give it a 9 out of 10. It does have a little bit of fiddly bits. These little antennas, of course, they just pop off. They're little Giddens extenders.
Look, that's the Lego does that. That's not me. Come on.
I know. I think it would actually be better if they just left those off because the whip antennas they added on here, which are a little more solid, are much easier. They're not too bad. There was also something I thought was pretty cool. Oh, I thought it was interesting. They included in here, and you can see kind of on the front section here, they gave both the old, or I should say, so these ones are the old umbrella stands with the small ring, and then also the newer umbrella stands as well.
Interesting.
So it was interesting that they had a combination of old and new parts, but yet in all the same mold, color, whatever you want to do. So a lot of newer parts that Lego has done. There are roller skates on here, like you would think that was they were going out of style. I think also this piece here, these ones right here, I don't think those exist in new gray. I think those are in older colors. I can't remember.
Are those binoculars?
They're the funky binoculars with a stud.
Oh, the robot from Friends. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if those are available in new gray.
I don't think so.
I don't know. So, but yeah, there are roller skates all over this thing for greebling. It's very reminiscent of the Brick Artisan's build and Peter Reed's tile type building, but at the same time, it's very solid. It's a very solid build, other than a couple of the fiddly bits. So
and it's, I'm not going to put the link up there, but it is $7.99. It costs you $8.
$8. It's $8 for 464 pieces. Granted, they're not Lego pieces, but still $8. If it wasn't for the fact that I don't want to contribute to the delinquency of minors, this would be a great gift to drop off to charity sets or charity things for Christmas gifts, because this is just a cool set for kids that don't normally get to play with Lego.
Well, and you're talking about the stud thing, is that's built so there's maybe 4 studs showing in the whole thing. So you've got to really stare at it to see that it's not Lego, right?
Yeah, no, you really do have to stare at it to realize it's not Lego, because even the studs that are exposed, they're hollow studs and they're recessed away someplace, so you really don't see them very clearly. So I would bet you if I walked in and dropped this on somebody's desk or someplace who was used to seeing Lego, they'd be like, "Oh wow, that's a cool build. That's a cool Lego set," and they would not notice very quickly that it was not truly Lego. Yeah, they would have to be hardcore to know that this canopy didn't exist to know that it wasn't Lego.
Yeah, so. But I mean, and I'll say this because I'm on the found it the Amazon the advertisement. It has a video of the little robots mining stuff. I mean, the marketing, there's some marketing with this thing and all this stuff. It's crazy.
It's very, very bizarre. But at the same, I mean, and again, I know that from watching Forever Sorting that Kevin used to say that they would frequently have to build clone sets just to get a comparison for things. And I bet you there's probably a couple of people at Lego who are like, yeah, this set's a problem.
Yeah.
Because it's actually pretty good. The instructions look like they were built in studio, which is funny. But I mean, it is what it is. Granted, somebody got $10 or $8 of my money for cheap plastic and some semi-decent instructions, but for a pretty decent build. So
that's kind of evil and entertaining.
I'm just gonna say, when you apply for a Lego Media Ambassador, I'm gonna play this clip back to Lego.
You know what though? I am very bipartisan and very, very open about the quality control of the whole thing. It is good to test out the competition to see how are they doing. So, well, I don't think Lego wants me to be an ambassador because my Instagram page often references alcoholic beverages from time to time. So,
Europeans have a different feeling about that. So,
yeah, but they're probably looking at it from an American perspective. So,
I will say, Eric, I don't know, Mark has met Eric Versagi. He's master builder, works up in
Enfield.
Yeah, there it is. There's the word. So this was back in the day when there wasn't all the all overseas brands coming in, but there was, Mega Bloks was trying to really muscle in, and Kobe maybe, and something was mentioned, and I said, I bet you hate those guys. He goes, no. He said they make us better, and he's right. Yeah. I mean, here you go, Lego, and I love you, and you're my ride or die. You know what I'm saying? Dude produced a $7. It does say 50% off on Amazon, but I got a feeling it's just that's what it costs. It's $7, $8 for 400 pieces, and I would be happy for that spaceship made by you for 3 times that cost, and I would buy it in a minute.
Yeah,
400 and something pieces for $21. I'm in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Well, I mean, figuratively, that should be figuratively, Lego would sell that as a $40 set.
Yeah,
and it didn't, and it didn't come with a minifigure. So let's call it 45 and change or something like that.
Well, that's probably why it hasn't hit anybody's radar, because it doesn't have a minifigure in it, and that's where Lego still has the patent and the muscle and all the things, right?
Yeah, so exactly. And that's also probably what makes it not seem appealing to somebody who might want to buy it, because it doesn't have a minifigure in it.
Right.
So the fan that designed the Sand Green Bait Shop, which is honestly one of the best modular size buildings I've ever built, he pitched add-on units to go with that a boat ramp and that kind of stuff. And Lego, chose not to build them, and then lo and behold, they showed up on a third-party brick, and I looked long and hard. I was like, I like his designs, and I could see myself wanting to expand it out. But I'm like, I just have brand loyalty, I guess. And I was like, yeah. But I've seen a couple of people who, build modular buildings. They don't get picked up in the fan vote, or they don't get mass produced. And Lego just recently announced that they're not too much.
No. Matthew, you're right, because I was actually approached by one of the knockoff companies to take one of those funky modulars to build and stuff like that. And I've had a couple other people reach out to me, and I'm like, the brand loyalty in me says, $8 for a space set. I'll throw this, probably these plastic pieces will get tossed into my recycling bin just so they don't accidentally get put into my inventory. I actually have this little handful here of pieces that I would normally drop up into my scratch bucket. Yeah, these are going in the trash just so I don't. What's up? These are going in the trash just so I don't accidentally throw them into my spare parts to get mixed in. But it was worth it just to see and realize what it is. And maybe I won't throw it away. Maybe I will throw it into a box and give it to somebody as charity or something like that, just for fun. Maybe I'll give it to Simon. Maybe that's where this will go to.
That would be hilarious.
Wrap it up for him.
Bag or something. But that also proves the point. It used to be the quality of Lego was hard to attain because of the cost to get it. It ain't that way anymore.
No,
technologies, the ability to mold that plastic with that much tolerance is still not easy to pull off, but it's not almost impossible like it used to be.
But these pieces are, other than the quality of the plastic, the pieces themselves look. I've seen some of the other, like the cheese wedges are always not quite the same, or the bricks don't quite look and line up, or maybe some of the greebly pieces don't. But the roller skates in this, they look like they came off of a Lego factory line. They do not look like they're knockoff bricks in any way, shape, or form. And the hoses, they're the old style hoses, so they spin.
Oh wow!
So it's just very, very interesting. And your comment about they make us better. I hope that someone has gotten this and gone, okay, we need to ramp up some things or do some things. But I want to circle back real quick before we go to Matthew's question about the sets showing up on another vendor that don't make it or something like that. So knowing that this felt like the Brick Artisans build, I went to his Instagram page because I was gonna send him a message saying, hey, by the way, did you cave in and sell your designs to a company to do? And turns out that I found something from 6 weeks ago that nope, he had actually posted that on his story that, wow, they ripped me off. These look like two of his builds that are on Rebrickable, and that's what it is.
Hey.
What's up, Slim? Is his new nickname, by the way. But yeah, so I sent him a message saying, hey, I bought this as a joke, and then I finally realized, hey, this looks like your builds, and then I see your messages, and so my condolences on them ripping off your build. But again, they're not making huge dollars off of it. They're probably breaking even with the $8, but found it interesting.
Yeah. And to buy it to show thing, but yeah, that's I can't stand it when somebody just steals somebody's design. Even everybody talks about Lego is a big corporation. They stole their creativity. They stole all the work and then reproduced it, because all the work that goes into a set by designers that are hired by Lego is copyrighted and stuff, and it is not right to steal that and everything. Now Lego plays dirty pool too. I get it, but stealing is stealing, we talked about that, trying to make all the extensions. When Sandlin and I did our set, that was the days when they were trying to figure out how the Lego factory, the online, whatever, digital designer and stuff like that. And so we pitched, just like, we can put together a whole bunch of Lego sets, upgrades of classic sets and all this kind of stuff. And all you got to do is put the instructions, and kids can go, oh, I like that, and download it and get the sets. And we made a bunch of them, and they were done. They had moved on. I bought some. I still have them somewhere in a box, because that was the days you could build the set online and order it and everything, which was a great idea, and it would still be a great idea, but they had no idea what they were doing. So it died.
So this is actually a great plug. Yes, I have seen the 10497 that has been friendsified, which is friggin' awesome. I got tagged on it quite a few times and couldn't give it enough love. It's fantastic. But it was built specifically for Friendship Timber. So this is your plug reminder, and Aubrey's in here to also say, hey, that it is Friendship Timber, and check it out on Instagram. And I think that's the only place that it exists for the socials. And you have till the end of the month to build your Friendship Timber set.
Yeah, Fire there had stuff ripped off for sure. Yeah,
Fire. Can you, if you have it handy, could you pop in a link to if you have the instructions that you posted or an image on your Instagram? I'd be kind of curious just to see which of your designs.
I'd be curious too. Actually, that's actually good.
Yeah, but isn't that the danger of Rubricable is somebody downloads that, legally gets your plans, and then that's open season. And I mean, Lego themselves know that's a problem because you can go get their instructions, build something, and craft your own bricks or steal it and everything. I have a friend. Did I tell this on air last week? I had a friend who was in Beijing I can't say why he was there. It was all legal anyway, but he was there. It was all good. It was for a good purpose, but I can't.
Anyway. We don't want to hear your human trafficking story.
Anyway, he went to a store that had a big section of
Starwark, STARWARC, Starwark sets, and it was hilarious.
Well, speaking of the instructions, I joked in our text chat. I said, well, the manufacturer went on and paid the whatever 7.5 British pounds to get the instructions. So, they didn't steal it. They just bought it and mass produced it.
Yeah, right.
I'm joking.
No, that kind of stuff. If somebody makes their own stuff and comes up with their own cool designs and stuff like, and I guess if there's anything to credit the guy, this set you bought, I think they took the wings off of another mock and stuck it on there, and
they basically took two of his builds and like smooshed them together. So
but still,
it still leaves a really bad taste in your mouth.
It does. Yeah. Did you taste them? Did you actually? Never mind.
No, because I am not going to the emergency room.
Good.
Well, I mean,
we've had enough of that in this chat. So.
There's enough people we know have been going to the emergency room. So
I've got my Bricklink store, and I keep getting the Bricklink studio designers submit your stuff, and I'm like, well, no one's gonna. I mean, I like my painted ladies, but I can't imagine that being mass produced. I mean, plus there are no interiors. There's that little problem with the interiors.
Well, it's a tough game to do the Bricklink designer studio stuff. I mean, there's a lot. That's almost a full-time job on its own to get that to working and getting everything together. And the guys who are doing it, they stick with a specific thing, and that's what they build.
Yeah.
And I think we're all guilty of being, Renaissance builders, that we build a little of this, we build a little of that, we build a little of this. Well, except for Chris, he only builds space. But those guys know there's some of those things where you're just like, wow, there is a lot of time and effort. And they probably have a full-time job that they've done, and they've done this on the side. So
don't tempt me, man. Don't tempt me.
You know what? You should
copy, paste.
You should just go ahead and go to Jesse, the brick designer, and just steal all his interior stuff and populate your interiors with. He's already done all the work for you. Just
there you go.
I'll tell you who I like, and he's involved on the Discord for New Hashima, is Barry Crossan, the what's the right word? The very interesting Scottish guy who works on container ships and designs digitally. He has some fantastic interiors, and he does Dutch style buildings. And I look at his interiors and I'm just like, wow, that's gorgeous. I don't even try to do interiors, and this guy's interiors are fantastic.
I call that the Simon effect. He halfway inspires you to want to, and the other half of you is like, no, can't do it. Never going to happen. Never going to be as good.
I will say my purchase this week came through. I got the $50 Batmobile combo thing.
That was last week.
Yeah, but I hadn't finished building them.
You would have just opened them up. You were showing it off. Yes.
And I was not impressed with the box art. This is one of those where the box art is not doing justice to the set. This Batwing, after I built it, I really like a lot. The nice thing is they put one of the those new hanger pieces on the bottom,
so you can hang it on the wall.
Yeah, you hang it on the wall and everything.
You know what's funny? As you said that, I am finding more and more sets that the box art is not doing the sets justice. So I'm finding that more and more and more.
Black sets. I mean, the highlights in the pictures of these are all weird anyway. Yeah. I really like this. I really like the Batwing better. I like the fact that I built the little bat scoopy things instead of just sticking the crappy bat piece on there and everything. So there's lots of techniques in this that were a lot of fun, and it still looks like crap on the bottom. But what are you going to do?
Well, you're gonna hang it on the wall.
Yeah, but there is one part where you build this and it's Joker colored and down in there, which those are fun little techniques and stuff. But for $50, it was great. I did a stupid video basically repeating the joke I did on here, and it got 63,000 views on the TikTok. So, there it went. So, but anyway, I really enjoyed this. And if it comes back online for $50, it's a great deal. So, yeah, pictures don't do jet. But yeah, so you're talking about that. There's a lot of sets that the pictures, there is something to the feel of the bricks and, visually when you have it in your hand. Some of it is like, oh, this looks a whole lot better than the pictures.
I mean, there was a couple of times where I was like, I'm not going to get this. And then when I went into the store and I actually saw it physically built, I was like, oh, crap. Now I got to get it.
Yeah, exactly. It looks a whole lot better.
Yeah.
I will say that that's definitely true of living near a store, is actually seeing the window display has on a number of occasions been like, oh, yes, I do think I want that. So
once you rub that in 3 hours from a store, thank you very much. So
hey,
actually you're 3 hours from 2 stores, because aren't you smack dab in the middle of 3 hours one way or 3 hours the other?
Yes, I could go to Charlotte or I can go to Greenville and everything.
I actually, Michael from North Point pointed that out to me. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I'm going to put that away for later.
Oh, me. But anyway, all right. Well, we have gone a little over an hour. We've gone a lot over an hour, but that's okay. This has been great conversation and always good to hang out with y'all. And we had, yeah, I know Arkansas we have a store in South Carolina, but it might as well be in Georgia. So, because it's just over the line. So, thank you very much. Does anybody have link to a friends? Put that in there if in the chats if you got it.
I would have to go look on Classic Space above or Lego Space
Above and Beyond,
something like that.
Love and Beyond, I think is what he said.
Loving Beyond.
I don't know what that means.
Love the Beyond. That's when you love space. You love the Beyond.
It was in a Facebook group that I remember seeing it lately. Oh wow, that's disturbing.
All right, everybody, be awesome and build awesome. Love your neighbor and be awesome and be cool. And good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.